If crunches worked, everyone in the gym would have a flat stomach. They don't. And the reason isn't that you're not doing enough of them. It's that belly fat doesn't work the way the ab workout videos tell you. There are actually two completely different kinds of fat around your middle. One you can pinch, one you can't even see, and it's the one that matters most for your health. Here's what the research says actually shrinks it, and what's just wasting your time. So let's weigh it up. Grab your stomach. The soft stuff you can pinch, that's subcutaneous fat. It sits just under the skin. Harvard notes that for most people, roughly 90% of body fat is this pinchable kind, and in itself, it causes relatively few health problems. The other type you can't grab at all. It's called visceral fat, and it sits deeper, wrapped around your liver, pancreas, and intestines. It's only about 10% of your body fat, but it's the dangerous one. Here's why researchers single it out. Visceral fat is metabolically active. Harvard describes it almost like an organ that pumps out inflammatory proteins called cytokines. That low-grade inflammation and the fatty acids it releases into the liver are linked to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and more. And here's the unsettling part. You can look relatively slim, have a flattish stomach, and still carry too much visceral fat inside. It's not really about how you look. It's about what's happening around your organs. You don't need an expensive scan. The rough, at-home gauge health bodies use is waist circumference. Measure around your middle, roughly level with your belly button, without pulling the tape tight. As a general guide often cited by health authorities, a waist over about 40 inches in men or about 35 inches in women points to higher visceral fat and higher risk. Take that as a prompt to act, not a diagnosis. And if a number worries you, that's a conversation for your doctor, not a comment section. Now the big one. Crunches, planks, sit-ups, ab rollers. They build the muscle underneath your belly. They do not burn the fat sitting on top of it. Johns Hopkins puts it plainly. It's impossible to target belly fat specifically when you diet. As we covered in our Face That video, spot reduction is a myth. Your body pulls fat from all over in a pattern your genes decide. You can have a rock-solid core hidden completely under a layer of fat. Abs are revealed in a calorie deficit, not built out of crunches. The good news, and it's real. Because visceral fat is more metabolically active, it tends to respond better to diet and exercise than the stubborn fat on hips and thighs. Here's the honest, sourced list of what moves it. 1. An overall calorie deficit. A 2023 review of 40 trials found calorie-restricted diets lost more visceral fat than no diet. There's no belly-only diet. There's eating less than you burn, and belly fat comes off as part of the whole. 2. Resistance training. Harvard's experts highlight building muscle to improve metabolism and help brown fat cells, recommending regular strength work alongside cardio. 3. Aerobic exercise. Roughly 30 to 60 minutes of moderate cardio several days a week. Walking, cycling, swimming all count. Johns Hopkins notes exercise seems to work off abdominal fat in particular by lowering insulin. 4. A food quality shift. A large 2025 study in JAMA Network Open found that a Mediterranean-style diet plus more activity gave the biggest reduction in visceral fat. The combination beat either alone. Diet and training are the big rocks, but 4 quieter levers matter more than people think. 1. Sleep. Harvard cites a 5-year study where adults under 40 who slept 5 hours or less accumulated significantly more visceral fat. And interestingly, more than 8 hours wasn't better either. 2. Stress. Chronically high cortisol is associated with more fat storage around the middle. 3. Sugar, especially fructose. Harvard flags sugary drinks as among the worst offenders for waistline fat. 4. Alcohol and smoking. The more you smoke, the more likely fat is to land on your belly specifically. None of these is a magic trick. Together, they tilt the whole system. The honest bottom line sums up to 4 points. 1. There are 2 belly fats, the pinchable kind and the deep visceral kind that actually threatens your health. A waist tape is your cheap early warning system. 2. You can't crunch it off. Ab work builds muscle. It doesn't remove the fat covering it. 3. What genuinely works is unglamorous and whole body, a modest deficit, strength plus cardio, better food quality, real sleep, less sugar and booze. 4. The good news is visceral fat responds well to those basics. You don't need a gadget. You need the boring stuff, done consistently. If you want the honest numbers on how fast this can realistically happen, watch our video on how much you can lose in a month. It kills the flat stomach in 2 weeks fantasy for good. We read the studies so you don't get sold the sweat belt. This has been Weighing It Up.